Good afternoon, hello and welcome along to the horseracing.net preview of Saturday's racing over on ITV. We're going to be taking a look at the 7 televised races due to take place and hopefully have a go at cracking the ITV7. As we did last week, didn't go brilliantly last week, just the one winning tip out of 7. It is a notoriously difficult game, £50,000 up for grabs if you can tip every single winner, and it's a really tricky day's racing tomorrow on Saturday. Newbury headlines the action. We have the Group 2 Hungerford Stakes over 7 furlongs. There's a full preview of this over on horseracing.net if you do fancy reading it. And don't forget as well, if you like these previews, do like and subscribe. But we'll start with the Hungerford Stakes. It's the 3:35, the last race on the card of the ITV7 races. And this is over 7 furlongs, the Hungerford, which means it generally requires something of a specialist. Horses that are a bit nomadic in that they either have to run over 6 furlongs or 8 furlongs a mile, because there are no Group 1 races in Britain or Ireland over 7 furlongs. So it's a really interesting race. Only a handful of Group 2s over this trip as well. And Glorious Journey is one to note in this race. He won it last year and will strip fitter than his reappearance. He was a bit too bad to be true, really, in the Lennox Stakes last time out, finishing 9th of 11. But he has some smart form in the book over this trip. Won a Group 2 at Meydan back in January over 7 furlongs as well. He'll strip fitter. Threat is another who's a bit nomadic because he's run the last twice over 6 furlongs in the July Cup. Also ran over a mile at Royal Ascot. Again, not at his best so far this campaign, but the return to 7 should suit him, and he isn't one to give up on just yet. Both Surf Dancer and Breathtaking Luck are 2 more to consider. They've both run well recently over this kind of trip. But the one I'm going to go for is a horse best known for his exploits over 6 furlongs, and that is a certain Dream of Dreams. Now, he's got some very smart form in the book. He's finished second in the last 2 renewals of the Diamond Jubilee Stakes, and he was really likeable last time out at the Royal Meeting. Thought he stayed on really well to the line that day and only just failed to reel in Hello Youmzame. That form's working out pretty well, isn't it? And considering that he does have form in the book over 7 furlongs in the past, he's yet to win over this trip. I think he'll handle this step up, and provided he shows the form he did at Ascot, he's a long way clear on what I've seen so far. I think that provided he can run up to his best, I know he doesn't always win as often as he should, but he's a class act in this field, Dream of Dreams. The extra furlong shouldn't cause him any harm, and this looks a really good opportunity for him to pick up a first group success, so rather surprisingly. So we'll go now in time order. So we'll go back to the start of the ITV7 schedule. We'll go to the 2:05 at Newmarket, one of several handicaps on the card this afternoon. It's the Betway Heed Your Hunch handicap. This is a 1.4 mile handicap for 8 runners. A few interesting ones in here as well. And if you are watching ITV tomorrow, you might see that Indigo Lake gets a lot of attention. This is a son of Frankel. He's been the subject of a mini documentary on the channel. They followed him from birth all the way to the racecourse. He's looked fairly useful so far. He won at Doncaster in June, but he's been gelded. He isn't always the best behaved on the racecourse, and he hasn't really convinced in 2 starts since that win. So I think he's got something to prove here. It's similar sort of comments apply to Nathaniel. He's had 2 poor runs most recently, needs to bounce back. Zuba doesn't win as often as he should. He was travelling all over the winner when second at Newmarket last time out. Isn't the first time that he's done that, for all that he's very consistent and will likely run his race. And Boss Power was a good winner last time out at Yarmouth. £7 rides here, though, makes life difficult. So I think it'll be worth going with Night Bear, who's a really likeable type. Opened his account over 1.25 miles at Redcar back in June, and thought that was really likeable in tricky conditions. Thought he ran all the way to the line, looked like one who would improve for further that day. He was stepped up in further, 4 furlongs to be precise, up to Haydock last time out, and ran really well. Finished second over 1.6 miles. Only found the really progressive type one too good that day. His current mark doesn't look beyond him at all. He's off a mark of 82, so he's been raised £4 for that Haydock run. Handicapper as impressed as I was. Think 1.5 miles will prove his ideal trip. He's a big, strong, scopy type. This looks ideal for him. Night Bear in the opener at Newmarket, the 2:05 on ITV. Okay, we go to Newbury next for the 225, another handicap. This is the Unibet Euron handicap. 10 runners due to go to post for this over Newbury's straight mile, and lots of familiar names in here, none more so than Afak, who's a really smart handicapper, won the 2019 Royal Hunt Cup. He's been holding his form really, really well, was an excellent third at Goodwood last time in Blinkers. He's one to take seriously off his current mark. He's back down to the mark on which he won the Royal Hunt Cup. Two more to note are Jabath and Prince of Hearts, two that are lurking on pretty good marks at the moment. Oban is a regular at this kind of level, backed up an impressive win at York with a solid fourth last time out. He is respected, but I think the way to go here is with Tempest. Now, he's got a pretty eye-catching pedigree for all that he's quite lightly raced so far as a 4-year-old. He's a son of Kingman, a half-brother to the very smart Time Test, and he won back-to-back minor contests last summer, showed plenty of ability in the process, and we have only seen him once since. He was fourth on handicap debut at Wolverhampton in October, and that form hasn't worked out brilliantly so far, but he's on an interesting mark of 91, same as at Wolverhampton. Doesn't really seem to be reflective of his ability, I'd say. At the Rogers Charlton team are more than capable of preparing one on the back of the absence. He's pretty smart in the market at the time of recording. He's the 9-2 favourite. Suggests that there's plenty more to come from him yet. So wouldn't surprise me if he took a notable step forward here and proved himself both ahead of his mark and a smart performer, a useful performer in the process as well. So Tempest in the 225 at Newbury. Onto the 240 now, back to HQ, Newmarket, another handicap. This one is over 7 furlongs, the Betway handicap, 10 due to go to post here. And this is a 3-year-old handicap, the third race on ITV on Saturday afternoon. And a few of these look pretty useful. Carabana arrives here having won each of his last 2 starts, including over course and distance last time out, though a £6 rise makes life tougher here, whereas Black Caspian is another one who's on a pretty high mark at the moment, was a creditable fourth at York last time, but his mark of 84 looks about right at the moment. So with that in mind, Broughton's Gold ticks plenty of boxes. Now, he's a really prolific type as well. Hayley Turner takes them out here, and he's won 3 of his 5 starts to date. Hayley Turner was on board for 2 of those, including last time out when he pretty quickly put things to bed over 6 furlongs at Windsor. The extra furlong here should hold no fears. He's won over 7 in the past, and his current mark of 84, a £4 rise, looks more than fair. Think he's got every chance of picking up a 4th win in 6 starts. Broughton's Gold, a pretty confident pick here in the 240. We go to Doncaster now. Yet another handicap. This one is a huge one. 19 runners go to post at theraces.com handicap. It's the first division as well. Pretty low grade stuff, this. It's a class 6 race. You could spend a long time talking about these. I think personally, Ventura Rascal really stands out. He's a 3-year-old and he's been progressing really well so far. He completed a double when winning in really good style at Beverley last time out. He looked ahead of his mark that day. £4 rise looks more than fair. Think he can complete the hat-trick with Tom Eves back on board, his regular partner. Ventura Rascal up at Doncaster, but this is wide open. The 3 o'clock at Newbury. First group action of the day. This is the Group 3 Geoffrey Freer Stakes, and this again is another open renewal. Tritonic is an interesting type and carries silks that you would normally associate with jumps racing because they're of the McNeil family. My namesake Seddon carries these, and he's looked pretty smart on the flat so far. He was an excellent second at the Raw meeting back in June behind Highland Chief, of course, who's franked that form in no uncertain terms. Also chased home Subjectivist in a listed race at Hamilton last time out. He should be suited by the extra 2 furlongs, can very much go well. And Alignac as well is another one who's showed plenty of ability so far. Should be suited by this step up to this trip, 1 mile and 5.5 furlongs. You also have Mirando, a regular in this company. He's a 7-year-old now. wasn't really at it in the Hardwick Stakes at Royal Ascot back in June. Should strip fitter for that. He would be a big threat if running up to form. But I think the way to go here could be Hukum now. We've only seen him 3 times so far in his career. He's won twice. And if you take your mind back to the Raw meeting, he was a really impressive winner. He won the King George Stakes, King George V Stakes, on his handicap debut at the Raw meeting. Did it pretty comfortably as well. And that form has been frank because the 3rd and the 5th placed horses have won well since. He looked to me like a group performer in the making that day. He's been given time to freshen up. He arrives here after a 59-day break. I think he can find the necessary improvement to take this. So Hukum at about 11-2 at the time of recording is for me in the Geoffrey Freer. And last but not least, we've spoken, of course, about the Hungerford already, is the Betway Grey Horse Handicap over 6 furlongs. 12 go to post here at Newmarket, and this will be some spectacle. If you hadn't guessed in the name, every single one of the 12 runners are grey horses, and Case Key has an excellent record in this. Has won 2 of the last 3 renewals. Arrives here in pretty good form. He's only £6 higher than when winning this last year. Can't discount him. Where Clary Blue is another one to consider. Finished York at second at York last time out. That was a pretty good effort. But I think the way to go here is with a maiden, and that is My Style. Represents Eve Johnson Halton, and he took a real good step forward last time out to finish second in first time blinkers over 6 furlongs at Bath just 8 days ago. That was a career best effort, and a £1 rise looks more than fair from the assessor. Got the same headgear on today. 7 furlongs should hold no fears. He's shown some pretty decent form over that in the past. Provided the headgear has the same effect, he can take a step forward here. He's about 9-2, My Style. I think he can go well. So that was a preview of Saturday's action on ITV Racing. If you missed it, Dream of Dreams is the pick in the feature as well, the Hungerford, which is at the start of the video. If you do enjoy these videos, please do like and subscribe. Head over to horseracing.net as well for all the latest news and previews and all the sport. But we'll be back for York's E-Ball meeting next Wednesday. There'll be one of these videos every single day with a pick in every single race. So we'll see you then.